massive fight would be Ilia versus Islam too. Well, the other thing is too, is that Islam moves up, and obviously if Islam won the title, you know, you immediately have a super fight with him and Ilia. So
it would be much better for me to fight him in 170, and I will beat him and get the third title. That will be the best scenario for me.
Dana White has just said again that he is ready to set up a fight between Ilia Superfight and Islam Makhachev. But Chael Sonnen said that Islam Makhachev probably won't go back to 155 pounds because that weight has been the hardest thing for him to reach. This makes him think that a fight with Ilia Superfight will happen, even less likely if Islam wins at 170. Sonnen said Islam could only lose at middleweight for that fight to happen.
Islam returning to 155 is a real stretch for me. I think that Islam is going to be a lot like Ilia, which is, hey, this is great. Thank goodness I got here. Most unpleasant experience that Islam has had in the sport is just beating the scale at 155. I'm very confident in telling you guys, if Islam has success at 170 and becomes the champion, that whatever dreams you have of Islam versus Ilia haven't gotten closer, they got further apart. If you have a dream of seeing Islam versus Ilia, it's very unlikely, but the best way to get there would be if Islam was to lose at 170.
Daniel Cormier said that he fought Khabib and Islam while he was training. And since he was bigger, he was used to easily beating smaller opponents pretty quickly. But when he tried to do the same with Islam, he was unable to move him. Islam stayed on top even after Cormier pushed harder, making him start wrestling with all his might. He was taken aback by Islam's power and admitted that he had no idea how strong he was until they trained properly.
There's been moments where we're in practice and I'm going with Khabib or Islam and I'm the big guy. So generally, a smaller guy gets on top of you. When you decide it's over, you just throw him off you. No technique, no skills. You just literally grab him and you kind of throw him off you. I'm grappling with Islam once and I try to throw him off of me, but he's still there. I gotta give him a little harder shove and he's still there. Next thing you know, I'm grappling at 100% because the dude's that strong. But again, I had never really grappled with him in that way, like at a decent pace. So I didn't recognize the strength when he was trying to keep me down.
At the same time, Ilia Superfight was scolded by Belal Muhammad for wanting a lightweight title fight, even though he hadn't won one. He said that Ilia should fight tough opponents like Arman Tarukian, Justin Gaethje, or even Paddy Pimblett before being thought about. Beal also said that if Ilia skips over other candidates and then loses, it will make Islam's win less important, just like critics did when Islam beat the smaller Alexander Volkanovski.
He needs to earn it. I think he needs to fight either Oliveira or Justin or even Paddy right now to show the fans that, all right, he is a lightweight. Because you're going to look at it and then you're going to see how much bigger Islam than is him. And then there are people are going to say the same thing that what happened when Islam beat Volkanovski. Oh, well, you just beat a 45er. That's all you did. He's smaller. Look at his title reign. It was a 45er, another 45er. But Volkanovski at the time was #1 pound for pound.
However, Dana White noted that a fight between Ilia Superfight and Islam Makhachev would be tremendous, but both would need additional wins in their respective categories first. He stated that huge fights happen when fighters dominate their weight classes, as Islam and Volkanovski did. If Islam goes to welterweight and wins, he could face Ilia in a super fight. But Dana said it depends on how things play out, and he doesn't. Like talking about hypothetical fights.
Another massive fight would be Ilia versus Islam too.
Of course.
Yeah.
But I mean, Salim is obsessed with that fight.
Oh, really?
He's obsessed with it. And I tell him, I'm like, but they both got to win more fights in their division first, right? That's kind of how you do it, right? When it's like they both run through their division, and then it's like you're in the position where it's like, I got to make this. That's what happened with Volk Islam, right?
Well, the other thing is too, is that Islam moves up, and obviously if Islam won the title, you know, you immediately have a super fight with him and Ilia. So
could that be,
I
if
don't
Islam
know.
gets one victory, could that potentially happen?
You have to see. It's one thing to sit around. This is what the media always tries to do, sit around and talk about these fights before they happen, or, you know, hypothetically speaking. I don't like hypothetical. These are options that we have if things play out that way, but you never know what's going to happen.
Arnold Allen stated he knows why Islam Makhachev is scared to face Ilia Superfight, implying that Islam wants to defend his title against established contenders. He acknowledged that Islam may want to avoid another smaller opponent, but admitted that Ilia is a difficult task. Allen felt that a strong victory over Superfight would benefit Islam's legacy, but he also noted that Ilia has surprised people in the past. Nonetheless, Allen predicted that Islam would likely win the fight.
Understand why Islam wouldn't want it, right? He wants to fight legit contenders, and he's had like featherweights, ex-featherweights, late notice guys, replacements. He wants to sort of solidify his title reign, but probably is no bigger fight than Ilia, right? If he goes and batters Ilia, it looks pretty good.
Do you think he beats Ilia?
These guys, I don't know. To be honest, I've ruled him out a few. Oh, we're gonna get run. Hello.
About to get ran over.
Good.
Sorry. My bad.
I don't know. Every time I've ruled him out, he proves me wrong. So I'm not gonna do it again. Yeah, like I say, I think Islam wins and he gets ironed out.
Confident in his abilities, Ilia Superfight stated in an interview that it would be better for him to meet Islam Makhachev at 170 pounds rather than 155. He stated that beating Islam at welterweight would allow him to win his third belt, which would be great. Ilia responded to Islam's comments about maybe returning to lightweight, saying unequivocally that his goal is to fight at 170 and make history.
Last one from me. Earlier today, Islam Makhachev did an interview and said he's not ruling out coming back down to 155. But if it was up to you, would you rather fight him at 170 to get that third title, or would you be willing to fight him at 55 because that's the division that people say he might be the best at?
It would be much better for me to fight him in 170, and I will beat him and get the third title. That will be the best scenario for me.
However, Joe Rogan thinks Ilia Superfight deserves a shot at the lightweight crown. He explained that when a champion advances after beating fighters such as Max Holloway and Alexander Volkanovski, the next step is clear. Rogan described it as an easy decision, saying Ilia had earned the opportunity and was done with featherweight. According to him, Ilia is set for 155, and there is no reason to postpone it.
Because you have a world champion versus a world champion. Like, if anybody deserves a fight for the world title in the next weight class, it's you. It's simple. It's simple. You knocked out Max Holloway. I mean, it's simple. You knocked out Alexander Volkanovski, one of the greatest of all time. It's simple. That's a no-brainer. That's the fight. You know, he doesn't want to fight 45 anymore. He wants to fight 55. World title.
Sean Ali discussed a possible fight between Ilia Superfight and Islam Makhachev, saying that Islam would have a size advantage. He also highlighted Ilia's abilities and viewed the contest as a possible super fight. Ali noted that if both continue to win, their fight could become one of the biggest in MMA.
Tell me you wouldn't be interested in Ilia versus Islam. God, I mean, Islam is quite a bit bigger, but I feel like Ilia's skill level is just so high. Obviously, so is Islam. So that could be a potential super fight here in a few years if those guys keep doing their thing.
Demetrius Johnson examined the matchup, pointing out Islam Makhachev's left-handed stance and anticipating him to use kicks to the body, movement, and deceptive actions to keep space. He also said that Islam's judo skills may be used to end the fight.
Well, Islam's a southpaw, so he's gonna probably throw body kicks to keep his arms busy, keep a distance, move, feint, maybe use some judo to take him down and try to get him to the ground and try to submit him. But, you know, once again, like I have to see, you know, I have to see what Islam does at JDM.
Johnson stated that Ilia Superfight becomes most dangerous once he decides his distance. Ilia always gets there, no matter how long it takes. According to Johnson, the big question is whether Islam can stay out of that threat area or decides to enter it.
Oh, the one thing that's the factor is that Ilia is always going to focus on getting to the right spot and find his opponents. When he gets there, he's going to unload. If Ilia can't get there, then he's going to figure out another way to get there. So the question is, how does everybody avoid that sweet spot against Ilia? That's the question, because Ilia is going to fight in a 25-minute fight. That's what it comes down to. And then you go from like, hey, how does Islam keep Ilia away from that spot, or does Islam meet him there? Right? There's so much, you know, that goes into it, and my brain is all over the place. So for me to give like a clear-cut answer, I just, you know, I'm just like, I'm running around in a circle.
Benel Darish thinks the race still favors Islam Makhachev because of his stature and ability to combine range management and grappling. He thinks that if Islam continues to use kicks and wrestling effectively, it will cause issues for Ilia. However, based on his views, he would not be surprised if Ilia ended up knocking Islam out.
I think it would still go the same. I think, you know, Islam has such a big size advantage, and if he, you know, distance kicks, takedown, rinse and repeat, if he continues to mix those things up, I think it would be a difficult fight for Ilia. But, you know, from what I saw, it wouldn't surprise me if he was able to put Makhachev's lights out too.
In another video, Belal Muhammad stated that Ilia displayed strong grappling skills, but a bout with Islam would be a different problem. He thinks Islam's pressure, control, and takedowns will put Ilia in difficult situations and test his endurance in the later rounds.
The fight everybody wants to see is him and Islam. He showed that he does have wrestling defense. He defended Oliveira's takedowns on the ground. He passed his guard. He got to good positions on the ground. I know people are saying, oh, he got up from the ground, he didn't play the guard. It's like, he played the ground a little bit, then he got up, and then he knocked him out. So I don't know what you guys want. Everybody they're never satisfied, but I mean, he looked great. For me, when I look at that matchup and I break it down, I think Islam is very good with defense and with distance. If he's close, he's grappling. He's not staying in that brawling zone that Topuria loves. If he's within grabbing your range, he's grabbing you. And I don't care if Topuria is able to defend the first or second takedown. Islam's gonna keep you there. He's gonna push you on the cage. If I'm in Islam's corner, that's what I'm doing. I'm keeping him there, especially for the first, second, third round, trying to initiate that takedown. Oliveira got the body lock pretty early. Islam is really good there with the trips, with the body locks, with the single legs there. I think he would have continued grappling there, and it would have been a lot more interesting. It would have definitely got past the first round, and we would have seen how Topuria held up. He didn't really need to show his cardio.
Belal also mentioned that the matchup between Ilia and Islam is necessary and will be entertaining. He doesn't see it as a striker versus grappler clash because Islam has recently displayed strong hitting. He thinks Ilia will try to exert pressure on Islam, push him backward, and control the space in which Islam is most uncomfortable.
I'm excited for it. If it does happen, I do think it needs to happen. Stylistically, I don't think it's grappler against striker. Islam showed his last couple fights that he is comfortable on the feet. He's fought the shorter guy in Volkanovski, and he's played a little bit striking. He showed moments in that fight where he knocked him out with a head kick. And then the Dustin fight, he showed his boxing. He showed that he can hit on the feet. I think with Topuria, who does have really good grappling, really good wrestling, he's gonna wanna push Islam backwards, keeping Islam on his back foot, keeping Islam's against the cage where he's uncomfortable, and he's really good with his feinting. He doesn't really throw a lot of kicks.
Belal also stated that Islam uses his kicks successfully and avoids close-range boxing exchanges unless he's grappling. He thinks both boxers are already in talks with the UFC to schedule the bout. Belal thinks Ilia is fairly rated, citing his knockout victories over Holloway, Volkanovski, and Oliveira. He praised Ilia on showing himself and garnering respect.
The other side, Islam is really good with his kicks. He mixes the kicks up low, body high. Islam's not going to be in that boxing range unless he's grabbing you. I'm sure both of them are on the call or are on the line right now talking to Hunter or Dana, and they're trying to work that fight. Is Topuria underrated or overrated? I mean, I think he's rated right? He's your last 3 wins, be a knockout of Holloway, who's never been knocked out before. To knock out Volk, who looked great his last fight. And then now just to knock out Oliveira at 155 up a weight class. I mean, how can you deny the guy? He talks and he says what he's gonna do and he does it. So you gotta respect him, you gotta give it to him. But yeah, I don't think he's underrated at all.
Daniel Cormier has just warned Ilia Superfight not to fight Islam Makhachev because he thinks Islam's wrestling is too much for Ilia. However, Daniel stated that Islam Makhachev aspires to leave a legacy, but has not always felt appreciated. Fans expecting a confrontation with Ilia Superfight may be disappointed, as Khabib's crew only achieves what they actually desire. He stated, "Khabib and his friends are always honest. So, when they speak, their words should be taken carefully."
Khabib is about as straight a shooter as you're ever going to find. I'm telling you, when he's mad at me, he tells me. When he's mad at someone else, he tells you. He doesn't hide. So when you hear him say things publicly, take it as fact. This isn't him posturing. This isn't these guys trying to raise the price on a fight or anything. This is a true emotion, a true feeling, because honestly, that's how these guys operate. Islam has title fight victory, but they're Volkanovski, huge name of the featherweight, Dustin Poirier, name, right? And he probably felt the love after Renato Moicano, right? On short notice. So of his 4 fights, there are a lot of situations where he just didn't probably feel the love. And if you're trying to build a legacy, you gotta feel that love. The update should not feel good for people that support the idea that Ilia Topuria should fight next. I'm just being honest with you because I'm telling you, I know these dudes. I know these dudes, and I know when they talk to you, you might as well listen because they're telling you the truth. Love it or hate it, they're telling you the truth. Dude ain't doing what he doesn't want to do.
George Sierre reflected on the battle, highlighting both fighters' outstanding skills. He claimed that when Islam Makhachev lands cleanly, his opponents usually drop, demonstrating his dominance. He also praised Islam's constant pressure and world-class grappling. St. Pierre mentioned that both fighters are complete, making the potential match very interesting for spectators.
Yeah, I mean, that's another same thing. I mean, Topuria, when he touches, it falls, you know, and on the other side, Makhachev, he applies so much pressure. He's an elite grappler. I mean, they're both good in every area. It's a great fight for the fans.
In another interview, St. Pierre discussed how talented both guys are and why Makhachev is the champion. However, he stressed that no fighter is invincible. He warned everyone that even the best can make mistakes and lose.
Skill set are amazing. I mean, he's champion for a reason, but nobody is invincible. Everybody can lose, everybody can make a mistake. And yeah, there's a lot of competition in this weight class.
Michael Chandler also addressed the fight, pointing out the size difference, with Islam being the larger lightweight. He praised Islam's grappling, but claimed Topuria had the edge in striking. Chandler mentioned that if Ilia can keep the fight going, he has a chance. Nonetheless, Islam's expertise and vast skill set make him the likely frontrunner.
Islam fights Ilia. I mean, I think there's definitely a size difference. I think Ilia is a lot smaller than Islam. Islam is a big lightweight, a tall lightweight, and he's good in every area. However, Ilia's definitely got the edge in the striking department, and Ilia is very, very, very patient. Now, if he's able to not get taken down and he's able to just patiently break down Islam with those big shots that he lands, the big punches that he lands, it's going to be a good night for Ilia. But I think if Islam gets his hands on him and gets him taken down, I mean, grappling with 145-pounders is a lot different than grappling with Islam, who is one of the best grapplers that we've seen in a very long time. He's strong, he's great at doing damage and getting good positions. I'd have to give the edge to Islam just by size, by strength of schedule thus far and defending the belt, but I wouldn't count Ilia.
Aaron Pico voiced his excitement about the possible fight, describing it as an exciting matchup that would draw attention from fans and the entire sport. He saw that both boxers had distinct styles, and Ilia Topuria had a major impact with his own fighting technique. However, Pico thinks that Islam Makhachev's extensive knowledge and ability would be too much for Topuria to handle.
That's what a champion essentially is supposed to look like. Make the calls, go out there, deliver on the calls. Then all of a sudden vacates the title. I mean, how do you feel? Because you said earlier, like you were looking at him and going, there's holes here.
I think it's good for the sport, to be honest with you. I mean, him and Islam, I mean, people really want to see that. Everybody has their own style, and it seems like his style is just doing what he did. Honestly, I believe Islam is just a little too much for him, but I'm also a fan, you know, so I would have loved to see.
Cody. Brundage discussed the potential fight between Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev, stressing Topuria's strong win streak, which includes knockout victory over top-tier opponents such as Max Holloway and Alexander Volkanovski. Brundage stated that if Ilia beats Islam, he will be considered one of the best fighters of all time, possibly ranking among the top 3.
It's a crazy fight. You know, we talked about that. You know, Yusuf obviously at 145, he's on a tear. He's making his come up, and he wants that Ilia fight so bad. They already fought once, but we were talking about if Ilia goes in and knocks out Islam Makhachev, like how high do we put him on the GOAT list? Right? Like to me, I'm like, John Jones is #1 no matter what. I don't think anybody could surpass John Jones for a long time. Obviously, it would take a ton, but everyone in my circle at least is like, man, if he goes and knocks out Islam after knocking out Holloway, after knocking out Volk, he's got to be up there like top 3.
Brundage also highlighted Ilia's often overlooked grappling ability, saying that he is a high-level wrestler and black belt in jiu-jitsu with strong submission skills. However, he favored Islam as the likely winner, citing the size difference as a key factor in an otherwise evenly matched fight. He expected that the fight would be exciting and highly competitive.
And he could do it. I think people, like, he's been knocking all these people out. People really sleep on Ilia's grappling. He's a super high-level black belt with really good submissions, really good wrestling. And so I think people are worried, like saying, oh, he'll get out wrestled, but he has great wrestling. So Man, I don't know. I would have to go with Islam because he's bigger, and I think weight maybe plays a factor when you have two really highly skilled guys, but that would be an absolute banger.
That's all for today's show. So, what are your ideas about this? What are your thoughts about the fight? We'd love to hear your views on this matchup. So, share your ideas in the comments section. And if you liked the video, please subscribe and like it. Also check out our other videos, which are currently presented on the screen.